Hi all, it's Ollie from Jibtuning again. This video tutorial we're going to cover tuning the side edge and base edge. Now before we start, and before you buy your tool, it's important to realise what sort of edge angles you've got to go for. I'll just talk about them for a little bit. We'll start off with the side edges, just to give you the spectrum. For beginners and freestylers, we keep it at around 90 degrees. The reason why is they're never going to be all the way over on their edge, they're not going to need that angle support. So you can keep that at 90. For racers and more aggressive sort of skiers or snowboarders, you can bring it up to maybe 86 because they're going to be almost flat to the piece all the time and they're going to need that edge angle support. Obviously slicing through ice comes into it as well, so if you're struggling in icy conditions, you can always just put a bit more of an angle on so you cut through nice and sharp. For the base edge angle, going back to the spectrum again, if we say beginners and freestylers maybe up to 2 degrees, and what that gives is forgiveness when they're changing between edges, right? So you're not getting direct edge contact when you're moving your weight. So it's nice and forgiving, especially for freestylers that are hitting rails or spinning off the jumps, that sort of thing. They're not going to get the edge catch, right? For racers and more aggressive users, bring it down to almost flat. I'll say almost flat, you should always tune at least a 0.5 degree on, not because it's going to massively improve your standard, but more because it's just going to freshen up your edge and make it a lot smoother. Alright? So once you've chosen your edge angles, you can go into your tuner, what sort of tuner you want to buy. I do always recommend tuning your base edges though, just purely because of that finish. Now, if you've got a sidewall like this one here on these Mai Tai skis, you'll notice just here, you can see a little bit of the sidewall sticking into the edge. If you're going to run your tuner across that, the file on the tuner is going to pick up on that sidewall and it's going to decrease the life of your file. So you need to get rid of that. Now what we use is one of these, Ergos razor or sidewall sharp, and all this does, you just adjust it to the right position. And you just bring it from one end to the other and it removes that sidewall, allowing you to access it with the file and not pick up any. Alright, so do that first and then we can move on to edge tuning. Not all skis and snowboards need that doing, so just double check first before you go out and buy something like this. Okay, so starting off with the side edge then. I'm going to set these up for, say, a progressive beginner. We're going to do about an 80-89 degree on this one. So I'll just adjust the edge tuner to suit. When you start from one end and you pull the file guide down, nice smooth motion, down to the tail. The reason why you pull it, if you push the file, it tends to dig in and it creates almost like a serrated edge. So you keep doing that until you're happy you've got the right edge angle on it and they're coming nice and sharp. Now you might have seen the trick of using a permanent marker, running down the edge first with a permanent marker and then going back with your edge tuner, just so you can see how much you're taking off. Okay, so now we're happy that the side edge is done. Move on to the base edge. You can do the base edge first if you like, or the side edge, it doesn't really matter. I just prefer doing it this way. And then we're going to grab our base edge sharpener. You'll notice I'm using the same tool here. This specific tool actually does the side edge and the base edge all in one bit of kit, so it's pretty handy. Same as before, we're just going to dial in the right angle we need. We're going to start from one end And we're going to pull. Remember, pulling, you get a lot smoother filing action. All the way down to the base. Now a lot of people put down tape first on the bases, just so that you're not marking them. That will change the edge angle slightly. The reason why we're not using it here is this particular file guide has got a roller bearing, so it's not actually going to pick up on the base or rub any of the swarf into the base when we're filing. Okay, so we keep doing this on the base edge, exactly the same as the side edge, until we're happy that we're getting the right angle and it's nice and sharp. You can put the pen on again and then file that down so you can see what's going on. And just when you're happy with it and your angles are in, the next thing we want to do, when you're filing an edge or you're filing metal, you create a burr. Now if we leave that burr on there, when we go skiing in hard conditions, hard piste or icy conditions, it's going to chip away on that edge and it's going to decrease the life of your edge as well. So after we file, we get one of these abrasive rubber blocks. Start at one end and down and then back up. Just run your fingers along the edge, feeling for any burrs. If you have got a burr there, just run it down again, or just in the point where the burr is, just to smoothen that out. Now a lot of people test sharpness of edges by doing this with their nail and just seeing how much of their nail comes off. Now that's all good, but if you've got a burr, that's going to come off anyway. The way you want to test it is by running your fingers down and seeing how smooth it is. Obviously lightly, because we don't want to slice our hands open. So once we remove the burr, next thing we want to do is de-tuning. Now if you don't know what de-tuning is, when you're carving hard on your ski or snowboard, you start the carve off and you're digging it in, there's a lot of pressure on the tip and tail. And what you find is the tips are doing this. Now that's because it's too sharp up here. We need to take the sharpness away so it allows it to progressively get into the carve of the ski or board. The way we do that by using an old file you've got kicking around at home. You want to make sure that the teeth are pretty close together. Anything too wide apart is going to take too much material off. And then what we do is we just hold it, so we draw a file in which is 90 degrees to the edge, and we're just going to go backwards and forwards. Just taking the sharpness off. Now it's personal preference how much down the edge you come. As a starting guide, you want about 4 inches, or let's say 2 inches either side of the first contact point of the base or the edge. You go out, try it. If you're still getting a bit of chattering or you're still struggling to get into your edge, take off a little bit more. Right? Just coming down a little bit. Now on the tail, on a twin tip ski or a snowboard, you usually take off the same amount either end. If you've got a flat tail section ski, you can just reduce it by half, say a couple of inches of the last contact point. Alright, so just filing away, taking that sharpness out, and then you'll find that your ski or board's going to cut nicely in the carve. So a lot of places they tell you to use diamond files, aluminium oxide stone, Ranger files to do your edge tuning. That's all good if you're going up to that sort of extreme level. We're concentrating on the 1 week, 2 week a year skier. At the moment all you need is an edge tuner for doing the side and base edge, your gummy stone or your abrasive rubber block for removing the burr, and then an old file just to take the sharpness off of the edges at the tip and tail, right, for de-tuning. Now diamond files, you can get diamond files that you can put in your tuners to file away at the edge. It gives you a lot better finish. if you're a 1 week, 2 week a year skier, the only time you really need to use a diamond file is if you've been hitting rocks when you're doing off-piste or it's bad conditions. What happens is when you hit a rock with your edge, it heats up really quickly from the impact, and then it's going into cold snow again and it's cooling down really quickly. In effect, it's case hardening, alright? So you're going to get a real hard bit of metal where you've had the damage. If you use your file to get rid of that, you're going to reduce the life of your file. So if you get that situation, it will look like a chrome finish. It will look slightly different colour to the rest of your edge, but if you get that, then you can just literally use the diamond file to polish that out by hand, and then go back with your edge tuner and put the angle on properly. Alright? Just one last thing, when you're doing your edges, it's really important to make sure your ski or board is fixed in nice and tight, because I've done it myself, slipping with the tuner, slicing your hand open on a nice new sharp edge. So make sure you get a decent vise to do it. I've seen people do it on backs of chairs and all sorts. It's not adequate. You want to definitely get a decent vise for doing this. If you've got any questions about what we're doing at Jibtuning, or you would like to see us performing any more tuning demos, then just pop us an email and we'll do our best to help you out. Until next time, see you later.